Aliens tortured her for a week, until one reckless human fought back. The lights never turned off in Cell 7. For 7 days, Ria's world had been bathed in sterile, white-blue light that never dimmed, never flickered, and never let her sleep. The moment she closed her eyes, the shriek of pressurized steam or the electric buzz of the floor plates shocked her back awake. The aliens wanted her mind broken before her body gave out. Ria wasn't a soldier. She wasn't a spy. Just a junior technician who happened to be in the wrong outpost when the Jatari dropped from orbit. Her only crime was surviving the first wave. Now, she was their specimen. The Jatari were known for their cold precision. They didn't scream. They didn't rage. Their cruelty was practiced, scientific. Every injection, every skin scan, every question laced with a motivational shock to the nerves. And every day they asked the same thing. Where is the human military hiding the phase gate prototypes? She didn't even know what a phase gate was. Her job had been fixing relay wires and maintaining AI-assisted plumbing diagnostics. She said that over and over. The Jatari didn't believe her. On the morning of the 8th day, if it could even be called morning in this sterile hell, something changed. The central lab lights flickered. A deep hum rolled through the complex. Like a tremor. For the first time in a week, Ria saw fear in her captor's eyes. Containment breach, one of them hissed. Species 23, human, has entered the facility. That got her attention. Another human? Here? She struggled against the restraints pinning her to the diagnostics table. The electrode wires tangled in her arms made every movement scream, but she didn't care. Her vision blurred with sudden, sharp adrenaline. Another human meant hope. It meant she wasn't alone. It meant rescue was possible. Ria didn't see him at first, only heard the distant thud of boots on metal floors, followed by Jatari weapons, discharging. Screams, not hers this time. Then the lab doors exploded inward. A shadow loomed through the smoke. Not tall, not armored, not Jatari. A human. Male. Late 20s. Burned jacket. One eye swollen shut. He walked like a man with nothing left to lose. The Jatari scientist shrieked and raised his neural prod. Too slow. The man flung a black tube. Across the room, it clicked, flashed, deafened everyone with a stun burst. Raya blinked, disoriented, and suddenly he was beside her. Hands moving fast, cutting cables with a plasma blade. His touch was rough but careful, like he didn't dare stop moving. Can you walk? She nodded. Lied. He threw her arm over his shoulder anyway and half dragged her from the lab. As alarms howled, they ducked through maintenance shafts and auxiliary corridors, places she barely knew existed. Who are you? Name's Mason. Recon Team Echo. But I'm the only one left. Why come back? You knew they had me? He didn't answer, just kept moving. The lights shifted to red. Ventilation reversed. The Jatari were flushing gas through the corridors. Shortcut, Mason said, prying open a hatch. We're going up. Up where? To the roof. To hell with subtle. Ria could barely breathe. Her legs were jelly. But the idea of open air, of not being under fluorescent torture beams, was enough to push her forward. As they climbed, she asked again, softer, "Why risk it for me?" Mason looked down. His expression was unreadable. "Because you still scream." She frowned. "What?" "My last team, they stopped. After day 4. You didn't. You kept screaming, that means you're still fighting. That's the kind of person I save." It wasn't the most poetic speech, but Ria's throat tightened anyway. They burst onto the rooftop, only to face a patrol ship hovering 10 meters away. The ship's side bay opened, revealing Jatari troopers in full black exosuits. Mason shoved Ria behind a crumbling solar panel and crouched beside her, pulse pistol drawn. "Any chance they'll talk first?" She whispered. "Jatari? No. They shoot. Then ask what parts are left." "Great." Mason peeked around the edge. 3 shooters. 1 pilot. If I take out the pilot, you'll be dead. So will you. So it evens out. Rhea grabbed his wrist. Wait, there's an auxiliary battery unit over there. High voltage, we overload it. Maybe we fry their systems. He looked at her with sudden respect. You know that for sure? I installed it, with my own hands. All right, technician, let's break something. Mason bolted first, drawing fire. Rhea crawled low, her ribs aching, until she reached the battery casing. She popped it open and twisted the safety dial until the inner core glowed yellow. Now, she screamed. Mason ducked, then fired at the makeshift conduit she'd exposed. The shot sparked, then detonated in a ripple of white heat. The ship shuddered. The troopers jerked and spasmed. One fell from the bay screaming. Mason grabbed Rhea and sprinted to the wrecked bay door. Can you fly this thing? He asked. I fixed the waste disposal units. How different can it be? Mason laughed. I'll take that as a yes. Together, they shoved the unconscious pilot aside and took the controls. The ship whined but rose. Jatari ground fire opened up immediately. Hold on, Mason shouted. The next few minutes were chaos, flak bursts, smoke, sparks, but they made it beyond the perimeter into orbit, past the last defense grid. Then silence. Stars blinked around them like distant eyes. They didn't speak for several minutes. Rhea slumped in the co-pilot seat, every inch of her body throbbing. Mason adjusted the nav controls toward the nearest outpost. We did it, she murmured. You did it, Mason said. That overload trick? Genius, she chuckled weakly. Lucky guess. Still genius. Silence again. Then, I meant what I said. About why I came back. Rhea turned her head. Everyone else gave up. But not you. I figured if you were still screaming, you deserved a shot. She nodded slowly. I thought I was going to die alone. Now you get to tell the story instead. She smiled. It was weak, crooked, and half broken, but it was real. Hours later, the relay beacon activated. Human ships jumped in. Medics took Rhea. Officers debriefed Mason. But before they parted, she reached for his hand. I owe you. You owe me a drink. He smirked. After I sleep for a month. He nodded. Fair. When Rhea finally stepped onto the rescue ship, bruised and blinking, she turned to glance once more at the stars. She had gone through hell. But someone came back for her, and next time, she'd be the one holding the pulse pistol.